Hello, everyone, and welcome to Got Thrones, a Game of Thrones podcast. My name is Alexandra August. I am your host, and with me, as ever, is my illustrious co-host, Johnny Kolazinski.
Ooh, an illustrious now.
Very illustrious. Folks, we are here to give you our hot takes, our instant reaction, our just like hot off the presses thoughts on episode 5 of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. In the name of the mother.
So first off, I just want to say that I've mentioned my wife and watching it with my wife multiple times. She said at one point, "Oh, that's the name of the episode."
Yeah.
Like as soon as Sir Arlen barged in the doors, like it like and said in the name of the, it's like, oh, that like.
It was this episode. Okay, well, before we get into it, because you can tell we really liked it. But Johnny, where can these crazy people find us on social media if they wanted to?
Well, first off, you can find us wherever you're listening now, and you can probably review us or tell someone else to listen to this podcast. Just one, and it's great.
One singular person.
You can also find us on Instagram at Got Thrones, which we fought very hard to finally get. Or at got _thrones on TikTok, or at Got Thrones podcast on YouTube.
You can find us all of those places. We're having fun creating attendant dumb content for you to add to your doom scroll and hopefully bring a little joy and whimsy to your lives.
And so now let's talk about somebody getting their head bashed in with a shield.
Exactly. Let's talk about a useless person. Also, real quick. So, and if you are just joining us, we will be doing a recap this episode, and we will also be doing each of us will get 60 seconds to share all of our immediate exciting thoughts on this episode. And then later in the week, you will find us for a deep dive where we will sit and kind of just pick apart different topics and give things after we've had a chance to kind of rest with our thoughts a little bit.
And hit the wiki.
Yeah, exactly. And kind of bone up a little bit on what we'd like to illuminate for you guys. So welcome to Got Thrones. Welcome to this episode. And let's get to it.
Yeah.
Before we get into it. Yeah.
Like, I don't want to go too far because that's more for the deep dive. But once again, ridiculously well earned this episode.
There's so much about this adaptation that is so good, like specifically about the adaptation. And like all that is to say, like, I think I was expecting it to be a little bit like, the first Harry Potter film or, maybe season 2 of Game of Thrones, where it's really, really familiar and like on TV and great. But this has just been like much better than I've expected. I feel bad saying that, but my expectations were pretty. They weren't that low. I mean, they were pretty.
Mine were high.
Yeah, mid to high. I don't like to get out over my skis, so I'm very cautious.
I would like to point out that, as per our text conversation, you were 100% right. 100% right that this would be a flashback episode. I doubted you, Alexandra August, and I was wrong.
And let that be a lesson to you. But I am beneficent, so we will let it pass. It worked out the way that I wanted it to, where it wasn't a flashback for the entire episode, and then we were just gonna get, and then we'd get a whole, and that was just because how they were gonna kick the battle out to the season finale. But that didn't quite feel like the pace of this show, and I was glad that they managed to fit everything in a nice in a package.
Should we step into our recap?
I think we should. Well, I think we should do our 60 seconds, just like, our emotional, our emotional, just like reactions to the episode, just get a really good emotional cleansing of our thoughts and our points of view in 60 seconds flat for everyone's entertainment.
Okay.
Do you want to go first?
I can.
That's great.
Would you like to set a timer and hold it up to the camera?
Sure can. All right. And
okay, so number one, my biggest reaction was I did not expect that we were going to do a recap. I thought that we were going to have kind of a Battle of the Bastards sort of episode, and we did not. We had a rush of horses And then we had let's go back to King's Landing in the equivalent of the 70s. And it was phenomenal, number one. But also, we got to see that Dunk was not, he was always Dunk, but I really could have seen Dunk, as I said before, move in the Braun direction from what we saw. I could have seen a Dunk that became bitter and jaded, and I am going to protect myself 100% of the time. And instead, we got what happened with Arlen, which I'm going to talk about in 3 days.
We're in similar places, I think. I responded to Dunk was not what I expected when he was a kid.
No,
Um, I don't know
no.
what I expected, but it wasn't it. And it was really lovely to get to know that young version of him.
If I can have 5 more seconds,
Go.
we saw the Dunk that was the Street Fighter that we talked about earlier. I'm sorry, this is like 30 seconds. That was the Street Fighter that Arlen was drawn to. But we didn't see street fighting Dunk until the last like 10 minutes of the episode. And I love that.
Yeah, like that was a really neat hat trick of it, kind of thinking that you're gonna see. I really thought I was like, oh, okay, so we're gonna see Dunk beat the crap out of this robber, and then he's gonna flash forward and just, you just walk
And
the
then he's
pattern,
going to
you see
kick
me.
ass.
And then he's gonna, well, like, because I was thinking, I was like, oh, we're gonna get that down in the mud Aryan, fight. And I'm like, I kept waiting for him to be like, I'm in King's Land, because I thought that was where the
Yeah.
flashbacks were gonna lead to marrying those. And it was just different. And it was like Dunk was never somebody who wanted to beat the shit out of people, and he was never somebody who felt particularly comfortable doing that as a kid in that sense. And it was kind of like you really do see that he learns to do this to survive, and it's his survival that motivates that burst of I feel, yeah, like it's his self-preservation and his survival and anger, I think, kind of all coming out into one. But yeah, just
I'm going to interrupt you now because I already took us on a tangent when we have a actual like outline for this episode.
okay. This, like, nobody has a rearview mirror in Westeros. Like, you can just straight up follow people for a while. Like, I get that Arlen eventually knew that Dunk was there, but that was interesting. Oh my goodness, I was very scared. I was very scared. It really felt like, if you've seen the Netflix movie The King, it's like one of Timothy Chalamet's like first sort of big movies. He's an adult, and it's very much gets you to what it would feel like to fight in armor. And it sucks, in case you didn't notice. It's not like you're all like sprightly and moving and stuff. People are just running into you. That's what I was struck by. Like, poor Dunk just got the shit kicked out of him. Dunk really did just like get just the pants beaten off of him over and over and over until finally an Aryan yielded. Like, this really did not seem like a good day at all. And like the Baylor thing, honestly, like this sort of eclipsed it now that I think about it. And I will say I was a little disappointed. I'm going to take like 3 more seconds to say we did not get to see enough of Lionel Baratheon in person. All we saw was him. All we saw, we did not get to see enough Lionel Baratheon in action. All we saw was like the one time he improperly read a room. So that was my and also pour one out for Beesbury.
Pour one out for Bees.
It's
Always.
And
like
his mustache.
This is the first time in United of the Seven Kingdoms that we've lost someone. Other than Arlen, obviously. But so pour one out for Beesbury.
Pour one out for Beesbury.
I completely agree with you that if we were going to have a Lionel moment every episode, we should have had one. We should have had him, like, I don't know, like high-fiving people.
Beating the shit out of Stavron Fossaway. That's what I wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't even have to kill him. I just wanted him to keep punching him until he didn't have like a jaw left or something.
Yeah.
Or like he just couldn't talk. Like they had to do whatever the Westeros.
Stavron Paul.
Stavron would have been a really big Logan Paul fan, I feel like. Really, really into Kill Tony.
When you said we didn't get the moment that we wanted, what I expected was you talking about Baylor taking off his helmet.
And honestly, I think that was a really good call.
I agree 100%.
it just reminded me of I don't know if you've heard of the series The Walking Dead, but there was a rather famous adaptation from that comic in around season 5 that involved somebody, or season 7, I forget. Anyways, when Glenn died, and they did that true to the
Wait, Glenn
comics.
died?
Oh, sorry, spoilers. Oh, it's bad too.
You
I
know I
love
don't
you.
watch TV.
I love you. Poor Glenn. I'm sorry. I really well. Oh man, sorry about spoilers to The Walking Dead, but it's been a decade. But yeah, like they did the Glenn thing true to the comics. Like
Mhm.
it was like they drew it, and I remember
Right.
watching it at the time and having no horse in that race. Like that was a good show, and I as adaptations go, I think it's pretty spectacular. But that was a choice that cost them a huge chunk of their audience ultimately. Anybody that I've spoken to that was a Walking Dead fan, I would say at least 80% of them stopped watching after that point. I don't speak to a lot of Walking Dead fans, but like it, and this was a choice I think had they gone full like
Yeah.
Sonic splat of that, ooh, I think that would have
I
really turned people off.
Sonic Splat is the best term you could have used because I'm looking forward to, actually I'm not, but I'm going to reread before we have our deep dive, reread this whole scene, but I can hear it. Like it
Mhm.
is, the brains are sliding out of the back of him. I can hear it.
Like it's the way, because George is such a good writer, guys. If you haven't read the novella, I implore you to do so. It's really, really I think Game of Thrones can be, I think A Song of Ice and Fire can be an intimidating series. These are not, and you really get to enjoy just how good George is at crafting
He's writing
experiential
tight.
work. It's like you can hear it. Like we're serious, and it's exquisitely from Dunk's point of view, and
Yeah.
how, and it's just oh, it's so heartbreaking.
And I think it would have been number one, like you said, off putting on television and would have people would have not engaged with episode 6. But also after seeing Rafe, it would have been a lot.
That's a good point. Let's do a little bit of a recap, because I want to talk about Rafe, and that's a good transition.
Yeah.
And when I
We're recording this like an hour after watching it. So our
yeah,
recap is not going to be necessarily
I
spot
mean,
on.
so to start, as we said, Johnny at the beginning of this, pre-flashback, we get our little like septon or whatever their novitiate is. It's
Yeah.
the first holy person we've seen. And then it gets off, and like fuck, just moment one, Dunk is beamed into the mud. Like it is
Yes.
not slow. Oh wait, before that we did have like Baylor's like team leader.
Yeah.
Uh yeah,
Of it's gonna be bad, but you'll be great.
you'll be great. They're all trying to kill you, except for me. I'm a prince of the blood.
Yeah.
Good luck. But he
So
was much
I
nicer.
will keep some of those people from killing you.
I'll try. And only two of them. Lionel is just like, did your mom like you? Or did you have one? Shame. Orphans fight way harder. Like, girl. And Beesbury's orange. That guy, not one single lie, Mr. Beesbury, and we all know who he is. We know what he wears.
Yep.
We know that maybe he likes to go to, maybe he likes Tyrosh, and he has a little beard or something. I liked that guy. Big fan. R.I.P.
So we had that. Then we had Dunk's literal first time jousting. And then he got a lance in his belly. And then he fell off his horse. And then we got King's Landing.
Yeah, which I gotta say, like, if I'm trading locations, that wouldn't have been an easy choice.
Yeah.
Uh, and and like we get to meet Dunk in a way we never get to meet him in the books, which
Mhm.
is doing his thing with his girl in King's Landing. I just also read Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver, and that's a David Copperfield. It's based on David Copperfield. So
Mhm.
the whole like orphan more or less raising themselves theme, and then like you kind of find your pack, really resonated with me. And it was sweet to see Rafe, the girl that he's with, as they looks like this is at the end of the Blackfire Rebellion, and there's been whatever battle happens
Yeah.
outside of King's Landing when it's over.
And they're basically being the Thénardiers from Les Miserables.
Yeah, but they're cuter because they're kids.
Yeah.
And so when they pull out the teeth for the coppers, you know that like they gotta eat, you know. But they like they take the shoes off the horses and they try to save a nobleman. Well, sort of. Doug tries to kill a nobleman who's trapped under his horse, like Sir Humphrey Harding, until Rafe gets there. And what does Rafe do?
What does Rafe do?
She's like, whoa, why are you trying to kill him? And he's like, he's suffering. She's like, girl, if he's still breathing, if we get him to a maester, if we get him to a healer, we can ransom him because Rafe knows how to live.
Mm-hmm.
But they do not, because they are children and he is trapped under a very heavy horse who is also dead.
They do not manage to save him.
No. They also looked like maybe they were hurting him a little bit worse because they were pulling him really hard out from under the horse. And it was just, but it was a nice, they talk about death as well. And Rafe is like, well, we have to say words for him. And Dunk does not know any. And it's really sweet.
It's a very sweet moment. And then they end up back in King's Landing.
Yeah. They want to go and sell their wares. But before they do, they have like a handless bully that comes and intimidates them. And Rafe swipes his beer bag, basically. I forget what it's called. An ale bag. His ale satchel. And bounces before they can give them any trouble. But Dunk kind of cleverly is like, he will remember that. Maybe we shouldn't. And she's like, shut up. And they decide their goal essentially is to leave King's Landing.
Right. And they're gonna go to were they going to Bravos? Or just the Free Cities?
They just said the Free Cities, which makes a lot of sense considering the Free City. The Free Cities quite literally are that. Like you don't have to be like, it's not serfdom. Like you can go and kind of make your own way in a way you simply cannot in Kingsland and Westeros. So the appeal for Rafe is endless, whereas Dunk is much more cautious.
And they show up and they have their money. And they can do it. And all of a sudden, fees are doubled.
It is the end of the Blackfire Rebellion, I guess. I know very little about the Blackfire Rebellion simply because I don't care to know an incredible amount right now. Sorry, guys. But according to the ticket broker for the ships, everybody wants to bounce out of Westeros. Everyone wants to leave King's Landing. And so this time Rafe is really bummed. And so Dunk tries to like cheer her up and says we can make more money and we'll figure it out. But unfortunately, they don't get very far. Their two kind of nemesis come back and now realize that they are possessed of silver, not just what they stole from him. And in the ensuing fight, Rafe is killed. And it's very sad.
And very brutal.
Yeah, she swipes a knife of this guy's, and this guy is so pissed at her. Even after I think they've taken their money, he kills her and slits her throat broad daylight in front of Dunk, which goes to show just how little protection you have.
Like we talked about before, the side of the Seven Kingdoms that we didn't see, or that we weren't seeing in the first 3 episodes.
True. And that's kind of something that I think we just don't grasp as people in our modern non-fantasy times. But I think it was pretty much true of most medieval times that if you were walking around in any kind of vulnerability without like an escort, it was very dangerous. Just because there were no police. There's no social contract that says we mostly don't hurt each other. There just wasn't that. And it's just I hit on that a little bit just because it's so foreign to me to just to be walking around and to be able to be murdered without consequence. And yet in this world, boy, are there places where that is true. A lot of them, too many.
And then a hero emerges.
This was fucking great.
Yeah.
This was Sir Arlen, I guess we should pause and like, what did you think of Rafe and sort of Dunk and just their whole I'm not a huge fan of like the single episode guest stars, and here you are, my like my manic pixie dream girl from the past that has like been the reason I am this person. So I wasn't, when I saw her, I was not super excited.
I think Natalie Portman did a great job. No, I liked it. I think that they sold it very well. I think that for me at least, the fact that it wasn't, oh, we can run away to the free cities together, and it was instead, oh, I'm going to the free cities, made it a little less manic pixie dream girl and a little more, well, I'm doing my thing, and you're welcome to stay here and wait for your mom.
Yeah. But yeah, like that was the fact that Arlen was just mostly drunk until he realized that Dunk was behind. I was delighted by this whole. I was
I,
yeah,
I
Rafe really grew me, and the Arlen thing was spectacular.
I don't even think that he was mostly drunk and then realized. I think that he was mostly drunk and didn't care.
Yeah, that's a good point. That was just I didn't expect them to kind of really get down and dirty with what it would have been to be a hedge knight in Westeros and like what your life was. Because like
Mhm.
I don't know if you've read any pirate history or what that was like, but the thing that I always encounter if I ever find myself on a wiki is like, by the way, life on the boats sucked.
Yeah.
Like you had alcohol, maybe some limes, and no
He had
women.
malaria, if not the limes.
Yeah,
I
like
know,
just
like, it's still the limes,
lots of
but no scurvy.
yeah, I just really didn't anticipate them to steep us in the realism of what it would be
Yeah.
just to like when yeah, you have your autonomy, but what do you do all day? I guess it's easy to romanticize Arlen. And I
Mhm.
liked that the show didn't make
Did
it
not.
yeah, did not make it easy to romanticize him.
Yeah.
To be honest, I was with you. I thought this episode was going to be more Battle of the Bastards type thing, but because I also thought we got kind of a conclusion with Arlen last week when we get that flashback and Arlen just kind of
Mhm.
shrugs. Like I kind of thought it was like, well, did the best I could. Good luck. But this was had about as much dialogue, but was also very meaningful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's all we get. Dunk wakes back up and continues to get the shit kicked out of him.
Yep. And then turns it around.
Kind of like I feel like he mostly just gets the shit kicked out of him until like the last 2 seconds when he can beat up Arion. Because people keep running by and they just keep hitting him.
Yeah.
Like people just keep hitting him. And it's a bummer. Poor kid.
But he comes out ahead, barely, with his head. And I honestly loved him dragging Arion to the dais so that they could hear him. I love that moment and wonder if that moment had been 30 seconds earlier, if we had had a much better King of Westeros than Malar.
Makar.
Makar.
Yeah, and it's like because they do manage to show you that one mace hit. Like I wondered if they were going to show it on camera, and I think it made sense that they did. But you see a mace hit. They make sure to show you somebody getting hit in the back of the head with a mace. Um, and you see Makar. You can identify that it's Makar because at some point, like he runs and you see him run to Arion and scream, "My boy," which was like a real redemptive moment for me, with Makar, which was really kind of heartbreaking, which makes me delighted for next week. No spoilers, but
Yeah.
I would say my one disappointment of this episode is more just a disappointment of my own expectations. I just thought we were going to see more people kick ass.
Yeah.
Like,
That we saw more people die.
and to be fair, on a Game of Thrones scale, not a tremendous amount of people.
No,
died.
only 4.
Only 4. And like one of them we didn't really care about. But yeah, I kind of thought that we were going to see just more like melee.
Yeah.
And to be fair, like the producer in me is like, oh, that's genius though. We don't really need to see the fight. We've seen a lot of fighting. We've seen a lot of night jousting. We've seen day jousting. What we need to see is character development. And that character development took place on one set in King's Landing. Like they did not leave that fucking area. And now everybody's just running past and hitting Dunk with things. And that's the extent of the melee, which again, I feel like we deserve more Lionel Baratheon action.
Always.
So I will be expecting some kind of lifestyle spinoff to hit HGTV.
I assume they're going to do the same thing that we all thought was going to happen with Stranger Things, in that we're going to get a secret episode 7. That is just Lionel Baratheon.
Heated rivalry really
And Mike.
just like really raised a lot of people's expectations way too high, including mine.
Fair.
More gay sports, please.
Yeah.
Next
We
football.
dove deep in this conversation.
We did.
And we need to leave room to dive deeper.
Yes, we do. We should get to the end of the episode though, which is Dunk wins and Baylor
Dunk wins, Baylor dies.
does not. Yeah. And Egg screams a lot, which was Egg did his job. He was just like, oh, he also great fit. Egg looked really cute.
Oh my goodness, yes.
I liked the sports robes. That was the Targaryen sporting wear is
like I saw him just handing off the lance and I was like, oh, they dressed him very modestly. And then I saw him in the stands and oh no, they did not. They dressed him very well.
There's tailoring, there's stitching, there's embroidery. It all works, and it's like not I wonder if like he's gonna bring back like boys in dresses.
I hope so.
I hope so too. And on that note, folks, we will see you a little later this week with a deeper dive into the episode that we just watched. Please feel free to hit us up on any one of our channels on Instagram, TikTok, or less on YouTube. Hit us up on Instagram and TikTok. I'm having the most fun on TikTok right now. So if you're probably come there, but we're checking everything regularly and are having a lot of fun.
Yeah. Thanks, folks, for listening, and we will talk to you later this week.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.